Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Be Divine Minded. I am your girl, Goddess Fumi, and I just really wanted to start this video off by saying thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I just recently hit a little over 1,000 subscribers, and the last couple months I honestly put a goal out for myself. I said I wanted to build this channel. I wanted to, be more consistent in making my videos. And I just truly appreciate all of you guys who comment, who liked, who subscribed to the channel. Like, I truly appreciate it. And for anyone who's new here, welcome to Be Divine Minded. On this channel, we talk about everything, relationships. I have interviews sometimes with different people getting their feedback. I share my travels. I talk about dating experiences and just spirituality. I talk about a bunch of things on this channel. So welcome, and scroll through my old videos and, find something that resonates with your soul, because I'm sure there's something on here that you're going to enjoy. But if you're interested in today's topic, probably read it in the title, differences between dating a Native African man and dating a African American man. Although they're one and the same, a man is a man. I always say that. I don't care where they're from. There are some differences amongst these two. So if you're interested in learning about my thoughts on the differences between Native African and African American men, and I'm also going to share some of the thoughts from my girlfriends. I have a girlfriend who is from Nigeria and she dates an African American man, and I have a friend who's from here in America and she has a husband who's from Nigeria. Now, I always talk about Nigeria because that is where I've been. I never really want to talk too much about other countries or cultures because I'm not familiar with those cultures. Do you guys want to know who we feel is the best in bed? Who got it going on? Do y'all want to know? I'm sure y'all want to know. All of my girlfriends agree too, so make sure you stay until the end. I've dated a Nigerian man, and I've dated African American men, and I have, just knowing his brothers or the guys that's around him, it helps me to see how they interact with women, both from their own country as well as here in America. I'm not really trying to diss anybody here. This is definitely not to discriminate or to separate. I want us to unite. I feel like Africans all over the world need to unite and, just really be the gods that we are. One thing about African Americans that we love is that they have that swag. African American men just have a certain swag that I feel nobody can touch. Just the culture that we have made for ourselves with our music and, the way we dress, the way the African man, just his overall aura about himself is just beautiful. They say that the women, they like the fact that Native African men have a culture. They have a language of their own. They have, just a culture, just something like for me, when I did date a Nigerian man, I loved learning about the culture, and it was just something beautiful about it, especially as an African American woman, just to, get a realness, a story from a real life African person who grew up in the motherland. That was just the best part of everything to me. So we're going to say another thing that's different about a Native African man. We all agree that Native African men do understand the importance of family, very more family oriented. They include their mother, their father, their brothers, their sisters, their nieces, their uncles, and they treat all the children as if they were their own, use the village to raise their children and discipline their children, and they work together. That is one thing that I find which is so beautiful when it comes to African culture. That is one of the things that maybe 2 or 3 of the girls that I talked to about this topic, they said they kind of hate. They like the fact that they're family oriented, but they hate the fact that their family is always in their business. They're like, they can't do anything without the mama or the uncles or the brothers calling and, intervening in their family arguments, between husband and wife, telling them how they should raise the children. And she was saying how, guests family members would just pop up at her house. Now, she American, and y'all know in America, we do not play the popping up at our house. Like, I don't even like people, don't even FaceTime me without an appointment or letting me know you're going to FaceTime me. Unless you're my man or something, like, don't just FaceTime me. Don't message me with video messenger, pop up at my house. Like, that irks my soul. So she was saying, yeah, the family, they're always popping up at her house and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I guess it is good to have a family, because when times get rough, you want to have that support. But at the same time, when you want your space, you need your space. They said that the African men treat women with more respect. And I feel like respect is kind of like earned, not given. I do notice more in American culture that the men are more likely to call you a bitch or a hoe or a slut, even in the music. I never hear that in the African culture or the African community that I have been in. African American men, y'all gotta get it together. Stop calling us names. Stop disrespecting your women. Love your women. But there are always gonna be a good and a bad. There's always gonna be good men and bad men in every culture. Because I know that being in Nigeria, I've seen husbands just be able to smack their wives, and here in America, you can't just, they do have men that beat their women here in America, but it's just not, you can't just do it in public. You have to sneak and do it, and it's not allowed, it's not legal. But in certain places in Africa, a lot of places in Africa, it is legal to beat your wife. If she is doing wrong, you can go on and smack her. And which one is more disrespect? You rather be called a bitch or a hoe, or you rather be smacked in the mouth? And I'm not saying that all African men beat women, because I've never had an African man disrespect me, call me out my name, put their hands on me, or treat me as anything less than a queen. But I have had it with my brothers here in America. But I understand the story, and this goes to another thing that they say that the African American women appreciate when it comes to dating an African American man, is that we understand our story. We understand our story like nobody else understands our story, and I think that is a plus for me. So, like, if I'm dating an African American man, I don't have to really explain to him why there's no father in my life. Even though I'll tell my story, it's not the same as having to really explain and feel bad about it, because it's a lot more understood, that we understand what goes on in our community and what drugs and the prison system and just the laws of the land have done to our family structure as an African American. So it's just little things I don't have to explain. When it comes to dating a Native African man, they come from two-parent homes and they're big on education, and you know what I mean? So it's just like a different culture where you don't really have to explain it. My Native African girlfriend, she was telling me how she dates an American man, and he's just, when they go on dates, he really doesn't like to take her to like adventures. Like, he wants to just chill and watch a movie. And she says she's used to guys, like, they travel to London. This is one thing I noticed about Native Africans. They do travel, and they love to travel, and that is something that us as African Americans, we need to get it together. We got to start traveling. Travel, be divine minded. I'm gonna hook you up, you and your girl. Take her out somewhere. But yeah, so that is another thing that I've noticed that as well. Like, dating a Native African man, they do take you on more adventures. You get to do things and, just explore even things within your city. They're more exploring than, let's say, an African American man. As African Americans, we have so much here and so many opportunities here that we need to just step outside of our comfort zone and start to travel. So yeah, I hope this video does encourage more African American men to travel. Like I said before, this video is not to separate. This is just me sharing a few of me and my girlfriend's opinions on the differences between dating a Native African and African American man. Another thing they said that Native Africans, they love about them is that they don't look at the whole gold digger thing as an issue. Like, African men, they pride themselves on being able to take care of their woman. African men love to provide for the women in their life. And I think African American men has been so hurt and abused and just mistreated that they just don't have that trust. You know, it's hard for them to trust. So I feel like African American men, because they've been stripped away of everything for so long, that when they finally get something, they want to know that the person that they're sharing it with appreciates it, but also they want to make sure that they're not being used. Now, of course, you're going to have some African American men who are very much so providers. I've experienced it. I honestly have never dated a man that does not feel it's important to provide for his woman. I know a lot of women that have dated men who are okay with the 50-50 thing, men who are okay with sitting on the couch while their woman is out working doubles. Like, I've seen it all, and I honestly, I don't put myself in those situations, but I have seen it. But I've also seen it in the Native African culture, where you have some Native African men who are lazy and don't want to work. For the most part, basically what I'm trying to say is provide for your woman. You'll get so much more respect. You'll get treated like the king that you are. You know, and watch my video on some of the things that us women like about men, and you'll see why providing is just a good thing. So yeah, anyways, next thing. One thing, they said that the African American men, they don't dance at parties. So this is something that I know for a fact. Like, when you go out with a Native African man, they're gonna dance all night long. You're gonna just have a ball. You're gonna dance, you're gonna have fun. And I know I've been out with an African American guy, and you know, it's more laid back. You go out, you know, you have a drink, you eat or whatever, you talk, but it's really very rare that you'll find an African American man that want to go out and really get on that dance floor and dance. Again, everything I'm saying is not for all. It's just majority. And from what I've seen and for what me and my girlfriends came up with, this is the list. Don't get mad at us. And if you are mad at us, write it in the comments. Tell us why. Tell us what you think. Oh, the big one. That African American men are more open with their cheating, or they are less likely to get into a committed relationship until they're ready. Whereas Native African men are very quick to get into a committed relationship, only because of their culture. And you know, it's known that if by a certain age, if you're not married and have a career, you're less than a man. See, in American culture, our men don't look at it like that. Our men look at it, okay, let me get myself together, get my career, and hopefully explore and, you know, get all that shit out of your system, so that when you finally meet the one, you're ready to settle down, and it's because of love and, you know, all that good stuff. But in an African culture, they get married to maintain the family household structure, the mother with the children, the father, you know, work. And so it's a different culture. African men, they marry so early, and they marry for certain reasons where it's more about the family structure and to be a complete man, that they're not truly satisfied all the time when it comes to the situation at home. So they cheat. They have multiple women on the side. They have multiple women just to satisfy those things that they did not get to have before they were settled and, you know, had the money that they may have now. So where African American men, they will, you know, get into relationships or whatever, but it's very rare that, you know, they marry after, okay, I've been through this, we've been through hell and high water together, you've been down for me, I love you, so we might as well get married. And that's not all, but for the most part, I feel like African men cheat more because they get committed more. You know, African American men, they may have multiple girls, but it's not no real commitment there a lot of the times. So, and then a lot of times they're scared to cheat, because in American culture, of course, if you are married and you cheat, the woman can take it off. So it's just a, you know, different culture that, you know, I think all men cheat. I don't care where you're from. China, Brazil, Africa, America, Europe, you cheat. Now, my men don't cheat on me, but anyway. So another thing that I feel, this is my personal opinion, I feel that African men use the word love way too loosely. Like, when an African man tell you he love you, you have to question it almost every time. Always go by African man's actions, because that will show you if he really loves you. And that's for all men. But, you know, African American men do not use the word love too loosely. So if they tell you they love you 8 times out of 10, they really love you. Now, African man, I've met an African man that told me he loved me the very second he met me. Oh, I love you. 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 Always question it, because the truth will reveal itself always. Native African men, y'all need to stop meeting girls, telling them you're going to marry them, you love them, you want this, you want that. Get to know that girl first, because a lot of times, us women, we have our hormones, everything is going crazy, our emotions, and a lot of times them women be falling for your lies, and just stop it. Stop it. Wait until you really love that girl to tell her you love her. Okay, so like I promised you in the beginning, if you stay to the end, I'm going to tell you when it comes to the sex. Let's get a drum roll. When it comes to the sex, well, honestly, we took a vote and we agreed that African in general is winning. I don't care where you are. If you're African here in America, African in Africa, African in Brazil, African in Europe, wherever you are, when it comes to the sex game, you guys are leading the pack together. And, y'all do y'all thing. We appreciate y'all. We love what us as women, your mothers, we gave y'all. We love y'all. And keep doing your thing in that department. Yeah, so we all agreed that y'all just got it going on. We'd rather have no other. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, like, leave your feedback, all that good stuff. And so much for just tuning into my channel. And I love you all. Peace. Be divine minded.